So welcome back everybody to another big video today. The Midlands outdoors, delph locks all the way up to the Parkhead junction and maybe a bit further around across the Dudley number 1 canal and Dudley number 2 canal. Quite interesting because there is quite a lot of history behind the delph locks, and if I just get a bit of information to tell you a little bit about these, it's just a nice little place as well. I mean, if I just turn around and show you, you can just see I'm walking down a few locks at the moment. They do go pretty far down to the bottom. We've got different waterfalls going down each one, but if I just quickly show you one of the locks, and it's interesting to quickly look at, you can see just looking down there, look how steep the locks are all together. Look at that, and from there as well, down there. But you just imagine now a lock actually works, where the bar goes from one side, this will actually rise up the bar to come across, and then when it's onto it, it will lower down so it's level with the next section. You can just imagine how long it possibly takes for the barges to get from the bottom of this. It could take up to an hour maybe, because I know it's a big process from getting lock to lock. But I know they do boat trips as well. I think it's the Dudley Canal Trust do it, or it's the Starbridge Navigation Trust do the boat trips. But I do know you can actually go down to here, to one of them. I think it might be the Dudley Canal Trust where the limestone mines is. So I have asked them, do you do boat tours, and they said yes. But yeah, it is a really nice place. If you've never been to the delph locks, it's definitely worth to come and check out. So yeah, I do have a bit of information on the delph locks itself and a bit of some slight history. Delph locks, or the Delph 9, are a series of 8, originally 9 narrow canal locks on the Dudley number 1 canal in Brierley in the West Midlands, England. They were opened in 1779 and reopened in 1967 following the restoration of the Dudley Canal and the Starbridge Canal in a joint venture between the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal Society and the British Waterways Board. So it's looking down once more. The delph locks was first built in 1799. Just look at the date when it actually dates back. I do know there is some dates onto some of the sides of these locks. I will share in a bit as I'm coming back up. But a bit of history here onto it. So the Dudley Canal and Starbridge Canal were originally planned as a single canal, for which a bill was submitted to Parliament the spring of 1775. It was opposed by the Birmingham Canal Navigations, and so the project was split to 2 and resubmitted, despite continued opposition by the Birmingham Canal. Both canals were authorised by a separate Act of Parliament on the 2nd of April 1776. The engineer, Thomas Dadford, were responsible for the construction of the Dudley Canal, which terminated at a flight of 9 locks at its southern end. Construction was finished in June 1779, but saw locks little use until the opening of the Starbridge Canal, which took place in December. Dadford's son, also called Thomas, was engineer for the Starbridge Canal in 1787. Discussions took place about amalgamating the two companies, but they remained separate, although they will always work closely together. The bottom of the lock at Black Delph Bridge is at the termination of the Dudley Canal and forms the boundary with the Starbridge Canal. The flight has distinctive waterfall overflow weirs and rises from 356 foot 109 metres Starbridge level to the 441 foot 134 metre level of the Dudley number 1 canal. The middle 7 of the original 1779 locks were rebuilt in 1858 as 6 new locks, reducing the flight to 8. Some ruins of the old locks are visible to the side of the new. I will have a look down there in a bit. I'm going to have a look a bit further down on the delph locks today. The 2 canals ceased to carry commercial traffic and by the early 1950s were unusable. The Inland Waterways Protection Society put forward a case for restoring the Dudley and Starbridge canals in 1959, but Dudley Tunnel to the north was officially closed in 1962. However, in 1964, the British Waterways Board and Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal Society agreed to work on restoring both canals, and the early example of cooperation resulted in the locks reopening in 1967. Bit of information there based around the delph locks. Quite interested in the dates that actually dates back. But let's go and take a look down the delph locks at the bottom, and we'll go and take a look and walk back up. See it, absolutely beautiful down here. I mean, you can just see there is a bit of wildlife onto here. I can see more hens. You do get quite a bit of wildlife down the delph locks if you're looking onto the water. But looking down, if I have a look down the bottom down to here, you can just see the waterfall features. And in my 2020 episode, I didn't really go to the bottom of here. I walked from the top, from where I just walked from and carried on. But today I actually want to look at the delph locks itself further down. So let's go and have a quick look, and I will show you the dates as well onto some of these locks. So now it goes right to the bottom, and you've got there's a pub at the bottom on the corner. Now you have the Bathams pubs, you have a load of them in a line going down the road. So they are apparently nice pubs as well, the Bathams. I've never been in them. I will show you the dates onto this. Quite interesting actually. So you can just get a gist of what the dates are. So let's get to the top of this. This is the first date which I noticed before, and it's got a date of 1858 and carved onto the wall just onto the corner. And you can just see how old the wood is for the lock itself. You just imagine how old this all dates back itself. And it was saying the something built by the side, and I went just looking, because there is like walls as well at the side over there. So I don't know how this would have all worked back in the olden days and where the old bits would have been situated, but you can just see walls there with all the waterfall going down the bottom. But you can just see that one. I will go and have a quick look, go down the steps down to here. It's a lovely view. Oh, let's go and have a venture down here. But wow, it is lovely to see the waterfall features on the delph locks. Look at that, absolutely beautiful just to see it. All that water just flowing all the way down. But you just think, I mean, people who fish the canals, just imagine what's into here. I mean, there probably is fish lurking within these locks. But looking further down, we have got the numbers as well. So on the locks itself, you will see it goes number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7, and it keeps going on and on and on. So you can just see there, look, we're on lock number 4. Look at that. And typically they're all the same. They run all similar to the canal locks which I've just come from. Into the depth of them, look. But that one looks really old as well. You can just see all the moss growing, the decay of the lock itself onto the sides. Look at that. Wow. Now I think this one possibly could have a date similar to the other one. 1858. Yeah, it's still got 1858 and carved onto the wall. So you can, if you're coming down the delph locks, you will see that. Look at that, we've actually got another one, look. Just onto there, 1858, so you just get a bit of a view down there, look. So I just wonder what those are there. So you can just see some old mechanisms to the lock itself. Right, let's go and make my way down to the next one. It's just continuation of these similar locks. But they are really interesting. I mean, there is multiple canal locks where I've been before. There is a canal in Bromsgrove, and there is so many locks like this, and it is beautiful to walk down. Wildlife down there is absolutely fantastic just to see. But I smell the water as well. It just got that like moisty smell to it, like old. Quite horrible. But there is actually wildlife. There's a moorhen feeding on top of the waterfall feature just from the side, right at the top. It's making me wonder how that's actually staying onto there. It's quite cool. But you do with the canal section up to it, because we are in Brierley Hill. I have been up here before when I've seen people throw things in. Now there is shopping trolleys and there's all bits of rubbish dumped into here. Which, you know, it's a shame people really do that, because it does spoil the wildlife, what possibly could be into there. It causes pollution, and it is similar to the waterfront as well. I have been up there and people have dumped rubbish in there in the past. But I think we are coming to the end of the delph locks nearly. You can see that we're coming to another 2 locks there and down to the bottom. But we've got dates onto this one as well. The date 1858 is rubbed off that bit there, look. You see it's just vanished. But absolutely lovely just to see that. So you can see I've come a bit further down than what I should have done, but I wanted to show you the delph locks itself. I don't think I'm going to go even further down, because I want to get back up. I've got a big journey now to get all the way to Parkhead junction, which is the main part of the video I want to discuss with you, because there is history up there. You've got the Dudley canal, the portal, what actually leads to the limestone mines. That is pretty interesting. An old cottage on there, it was derelict at one point. I have managed to get inside it before, but it got resealed back up. It is interesting, it dates back quite way back a bit. And the history up here as well, you've got where the round oak steelworks was, Merrill Canal restoration, how they've done Merrill up as well, so you can just see what it's like now. Talking about the, you know, the old rail line that went across, the monorail, it is really interesting. So we'll go up there, we'll go and take a look at that now, but it has been interesting just showing you the delph locks all together. So yeah, here we are. This is actually another bit of the section now. We're coming to the top of the delph locks now, and we're going to be joining up to the next section, which leads us up past Merry Hill, where the round oak steelworks used to be. We've got the waterfront. But yeah, quite a bit of a journey to go yet. There used to be a history sign there telling you about all the local things around here, about coal mine side workings as well, but it's all been rubbed out. Whether they re-put that back, I don't quite know. But let's go now, carry on, and we'll keep journeying on across the Dudley #1 canal. So yeah, there are some interesting features down the canal line. I mean, we have got some abandoned buildings just situated by the sides, a bit of a derelict factory work on the corners. But just looking here right now, we can just see there is a little hole in the wall, and it's made me wonder what that actually is. And it's got the shape of like a portal entrance to something, and the door, I don't know what's in there. It could be a little cellar to something, where there was an old factory working onto here before. Could have been like an air raid shelter or the tunnels. That's what's making me wonder. If anybody knows what they are, it's just by the 9 Locks bridge on the corner here. Drop it in the comments. I would be interested. I think everybody would be interested to know what they are, so drop it in the comments, everybody. I would love to know if you know what that is. But you can't get over there to check it out. I mean, the only way you could is if you got from the wall there, but it is quite dangerous because there is like a little bit of a gate blocking that bit off. But going down now, I mean, there is like some bits and factory workings which are abandoned on the side of the canal. There is some bits here, and I've seen people have actually got over there, and it's made you wonder how they have. But there is like a little bridge onto the corner here, what links from side to side of the factory. I do know the bridge was actually blocked and people was getting across onto it. I was told about some of these side workings just onto the corner here. I don't know whether the old factory like on the backs here are used, or whether there is parts of this abandoned, but you can just see there is a bit here, look, of an old factory what was situated by the side. So when I'm walking past, you will see it. It's got the graffiti on the side, look, and smashed windows, little cellar, and stuff going underneath that brickwork. Quite interesting. But yeah, that dates back quite a bit as well, with some history for whatever that was actually used for. And once more, just onto the corner, you can just see there's a blue bridge here. You see there now a bit better with the smashed windows there, That caught my eye when I come past there last time to see what it was. Quite interesting. So yeah, you can just imagine back ages and ages ago, I mean back before the time when Merrill was developed, you know, what this would have all been like. This here was potential grounds for the Round Oak Steelworks, overlooking the former development site now, Merry Hill, which you can just see the distance just right around the back over there. This is interesting. There was a big hole in the fence and I thought I'll come and take a look at it. It says danger, keep out, but this was actually where all factory workings were situated. So looking down now, you can just see Merry Hill itself. Let's go have a quick look. Yeah, look at that. You can just see Merry Hill and all the former site now when it's been redeveloped. There used to be, imagine the monorail which ran all the way across there. Picture on for you now so you can see that. But wow, it is absolutely fantastic just to see this and the old views of Merry Hill itself. You can just see the church right in the distance over there as well, the one that I'll be heading to later. Quite interesting views. But the bridge there, this bridge is quite interesting. And I think this was actually part of the factory workings itself. And I will tell you some information about the Round Oak Steelwork Company and a bit about it. So yeah, the Round Oak Steelworks. Round Oak Steelworks was an important steel production plant in Brierley Hill, West Midlands, formerly Staffordshire, England. It was founded in 1857 by Lord Ward, who later became in 1860 the first Earl of Dudley, as an outlet for pig iron made in the nearby blast furnaces. So have a look at some more history here for you. So it's reading that what I just read. During the Industrial Revolution, the majority of iron making in the world was carried out within 32 kilometres of the Round Oak. For the first decades of operation, the works produced wrought iron. However, in the 1890s, steel making was introduced. At its peak, thousands of people were employed at the works. The steelworks was the first in the United Kingdom to be converted to natural gas, which supplied from the North Sea. The works were nationalised in 1951, privatised in 1953 and nationalised again in 1967. Although the private firm Tube Investments continued to manage the operations at the site, the steelworks closed in December 1982. Looking down, opened 1857, closed 1982, demolished in 1984, which you can just see the little bit of land that I'm on right now, which is part of the works. The works are massive, and I believe they stretch further over the back as well. So I'm gonna have a quick look at some of all the other stuff onto here. So there is information onto here about this. The Ward family, lords of the Dudley Castle, came to own and control a wide range of industrial concerns in the Black Country of the 19th century. The family owned land in the region as well as an extensive mineral rights. In 1855, the Dudley estate commenced the construction of the Round Oak Ironworks at Brierley Hill under the supervision of the estate's mineral agent, Richard Smith. The site was next to the Dudley Canal and two railway systems. The public railway, run by the Oxford, Worcester and Wolverhampton Railway, and the Pensnet Railway, a mineral line owned by the Dudley estate itself. Also nearby were the New Level furnaces, also known as the New Level furnaces, were blast furnaces owned by the Dudley estate, could supply pig iron for the new ironworks at Round Oak. The ironworks commenced production 1857. It was a large-scale operation on its opening. It employed 600 men and the equipment included 28 puddling furnaces and 5 mills. In 1862, the works won a prize medal at the International Exhibition. The works were extended between 1865 and 1868 and were then capable of producing 550 tonnes of finished iron per week. So yeah, quite a lot onto this place. It does date back way back, the dates of this. You can imagine this now and what's built onto here, Merry Hill. So the closure here, the plant finally closed on December the 23rd, 1982, after 125 years of steel production. Brierley Hill had already been hit hard by the recession of the early 1980s, but the closure of the Round Oak saw unemployment in the town peak around 25%, one of the highest rates of any town or city in Britain at this time. The closure came in spite of fierce argument by the local Conservative MP John Blackburn that the plant was still profitable and should be retained. Demolition work took place during 1984 when it was purchased by Don and Roy Richardson, who in October that year were given the go-ahead to build a shopping complex on nearby farmland. So that's why you've got Merry Hill now, because dating back that time, you know, people were out of jobs, you know, they wanted to do something for the community as well, build this massive complex today, which is formerly known as Merry Hill. And it is amazing just to see the way it's still going today and the development work. You can see Merry Hill now looks way different to what it would have done in the past. So you can see all the new workings just at the bottom where I'm pointing to what I've done up. And the Merry Hill monorail is actually situated right at the top of there, and it is covered by different bits. I believe it's covered now, but it used to be situated right at the top of that up to there. I don't know whether you can see the back of it, but I have seen part of it up by Clent Hills when I zoomed in with my camera, and that is really interesting to see the way that monorail run back in the days. I've seen videos of it when it was actually operational, and that closed as well, I think due to technical faults, and bits of it was actually sent over to I think it was Australia, bits of it were sent over to. But yeah, today it's just all changed. It's so different to what it would have been in the past, Merry Hill is. So imagine when all this was actually ironworks, the way it would have actually looked. Wow. But just right behind me, let's go and have a look. So yeah, I don't know what these are. If you know what these are, then feel free to drop it in the comments. They are really heavy. Wood with like these like things onto there. Now I do know there was train track that actually served the Round Oak Steelworks as well. That went across the backs over there. I will show you bits of it later. Just down the bottom past the waterfront, you can just see where the old railway used to be from the other side. I will point it to you. But yeah, this is the bridge. This one is old. You can just see, looking at it, how old that is, look. Let's have a walk onto it. Wow. You see, imagine when the works was actually here, all onto this at the bottom. But get a better view of Merry Hill from the side as well, look. But let's have a bit of a walk down. As you can see, yeah, people have been up here. But look down there, look at that. You get a better view of the canal from there, look. Wow. It is quite interesting seeing the two sides of the canal. Just being a bit careful onto this. For that. And over there, more formal site of the Round Oak. There's like little remains of it over the back over to there as well. It's just amazing just to see it. So I think I'll head back off now, and we'll journey our way down the Dudley #1 canal and go even further. Yeah, made it to the waterfront, so you can just see in front of me. That is the Banks's Brierley Hop House, which is right in front. Lovely pub. I haven't been in there though, but I've heard people say it's really nice. Now journeying around under New Level Furnace Bridge, we've got the whole of the waterfront itself based right at the back. You can just see when they developed this, when Round Oak Steel was gone, and they done the Merry Hill site up, built this. And today this is used as different like, office units for things. I know there's like a college part as well down the corner, big apartments right the way at the back. So you see what I've done with the land and made it all useful to what it is today. But this bit here is absolutely fantastic part for actually fishing onto here. I've done it before. There are some lovely decent fish. If you're into your fishing, then the waterfront is definitely a way to go if you're local. Give it a try, fish over the other side. I've heard people say there's big massive carp into here as well. Bask in the basin in the summer. It's just lovely to come down. But yeah, just looking down there, it is a big piece of land. The waterfront extends over that way, extends over this side. You've got Pedmore House, you've got all the harbour buildings that are way at the back. I will have a look at this map actually just to show you how far it actually extends. But we'll see what's onto it actually, because it is interesting. Oh well, Dudley Council Housing and Services right there over there onto that building. But look at the map, look how big the place is itself. Got Pedmore House, Quay House, Capstone House, Bridge House, and the big Cable Plaza building, which is right over there. Look how far it extends up as well. Goes right the way over the back over that way. Big piece of land, and you can just see all the different things what I'm there. Black Country Radio is in the Cable Plaza building. Oh well. And you've got the college in the Admiral House, which is right there at the corner. JD Weatherspoon waterfronting. Oh, Weatherspoons there, absolutely lovely. Yeah, Fitness Studio 46, the waterfront convenience store. Convenience store, I didn't know there was actually a convenience store up here. Waterfront Calf. So yeah, you can just see there's quite a lot of Royal Mail, quite a lot of industry on the waterfront. So yeah, if you've never been up this side for a walk, definitely come and check it out. It is lovely. So yeah, this is actually the next part. Round Oak Steelworks actually used to be all the way at the back over there, so you can just see where that factory lining was. All at the ground over the back of there is Round Oak, and you can just see Round Oak Bridge number 1, Round Oak Bridge number 2. So there's actually 2 Round Oak bridges just here going from one side to another. Yeah, I think it was actually City Trade where that factory is now, over there over the back. So when you're walking further down the canal line, just round the corner there is like a little bit, can see some like structures sticking up. What's still there now is like a little thing at the edge. These little old lighting systems placed all right at the back. See if I can see it to show you. But just imagine all the industry and how far it's stretched from where I come from. But yeah, this is actually Round Oak Bridge number 2, look. Right, and underneath here we'll come round to the next section now. But yeah, when you're going down you can actually see old structures, old lighting, bridges. Well, I'm coming up right in front, but you can just see that is an old light because you can see how rusty that is. That's been there for many years. There is bigger lights right there at the back over there as well. The back of that factory, all that land is flat onto the canal, but you can just see one of the lighting systems, look, when Round Oak was actually there. But the bridge here is really old as well. Yeah, look how old that bridge is. I mean, you can just see all the rust onto the side, look, and all underneath it. Let's have a look by the sides. I don't know whether it was an old road for the factories back in the past, but I do know it's a really old bridge altogether. But you can just see underneath it, looking right the way under. Look at that. We've even got like silicon forming up there. Old. And you see the supports as well underneath, how old that is. But yeah, more more area for where the round oak actually was, and I will just show you around the corner in a minute where the flat land is. And there is, like, when you're walking down the canal line, you can actually see where the old bridges actually used to be situated, which are not knocked down. There is a bridge coming round the corner now. It's like a bit of brick wall where a bridge would have been situated. But yeah, there is one here, as you can see. There would have been a bridge connected to the round oak steelworks itself from this part all the way over to this part here, because you can just see how level it is from the top. So that section there, so that was one potential bridge. Now looking at that bit there, there would have been two bridges actually. You would have had that one there, and there would have been a bridge situated right the way there, and that would have gone all the way across to the other side as well, to where I'm pointing. So you can just see a bit of support down the side down there. I will show you some more when I get further down the canal line. There is more a bit further down. So yeah, we're up now to where the round oak would have come to an end. Now round oak steelworks ended at a point a bit further onto the corner, so there is like a new bit of factory there. I think it terminated just at the back over there. All of this from where the waterfront was actually over round oak, because you see how big the land is. More bridge workings here, so you can just see where a potential bridge went from one side to the other. I will show you the other side in a bit. So how you know it's a bridge is by telling by the brick wall. You can see the bricks crumbling apart, look. And on the same side, level to it, is actually another brick wall. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, you can see all the old steel supports for the bridge on the side still there. And this bit here as well, you can see that is actually level with that bit there to this bit here. So you can just see there, look how level that is to that bit. So that's actually another bridge to the round oak. But the land itself is pretty much really flat over there now. There is the old lighting for round oak still works. I don't know where you'll be able to see it, but it's like structures from where I'm pointing right the way there. There's one light there, lights all the way at the back. You've got the rail line what served the round oak steel works right the way at the back over to there. I'm going to post a photo on now for you so you can just see the round oak steel works where the rail line actually was. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, and the round oak itself, so you can see all the structured buildings, how big the land was for round oak steel works. Absolutely massive. But you can just see flat land all the way down here as well, look. And there is, you can actually see it now. I couldn't before last time I come down. There is even more structure down here, what you can see. But it's amazing just to see some of the old stuff for the demolished factory. I mean, there's a bridge there with the old train line. Can just see here, I don't know if my GoPro will pick it up. There is a bridge there where I'm pointing, just right the way over there. Where I'm pointing there, there's a train bridge. Now, whether I can get a better view of the lighting systems for you, which I'm still there. Have a quick look. I might be able to from this corner in a minute to show you. Right, yeah, be able to show you now. Yeah, right there, look. You can just see it where I'm pointing. You can see one sticking up. Now that is an old lighting system for the round oak itself. One at the back there. There is a photo of the canal junction itself, the canal side of the factory, going all the way down there. There was an old photo of what I've seen. But it's just mad just to see the old rail line still there now at the back. And this here, this is interesting, whether many of you know what it is. There is like a big structured thing here in the corner, look. There. I don't know what it is myself, whether many of you might know. That was part of round oak as well. Quite a lot of old structure in. I can see metal sticking out the side of the walls as well, where old buildings would have been situated with it as well, just onto the corners. So yeah, absolutely quite a lot of where the old industry actually used to be. It is really interesting just to look at, and you know, I love looking at the old demolished buildings and researching about them, because the history dates back quite a bit and it's really interesting to see what they did at these factories. But yeah, so now we're journeying our way now forward. We're going even further down the Dudley #1 canal to Parkhead Junction, which is the big part where it splits off to Netherton, and you've got the portal to the Dudley tunnel, which goes right the way into the limestone mines, which I covered before. quite a bit of a journey, but let's keep moving on. We've still got more to cover, and let's start making our way to Parkhead Junction. Oh, here we have, I've made it. Parkhead Junction. It's this literally right the way at the top over the back over there, I think. Yeah, it is. We're coming under, see what this bridge is called in a minute. Oh, it's absolutely warm. It says Dudley and Lye Waste Bridge. So it goes under there, connects to a canal side there with a lock, and it brings you out to the very top to the next junction. So this splits off into two corners now. Right takes you to Netherton, straight on takes you through the Dudley portal, through the tunnel known as the Dudley limestone mines, which then brings you out into the Dudley section of the canal, past the Black Country Museum, and I think it goes even further than that. So it's pretty much a long canal, but I will now show you the top end where the bridge is itself. So yeah, there is quite a lot of old buildings on the canal, and I believe this is old as well. This dates back quite a bit. An information board here, Parkhead locks, which is on the corner, and there is a faded out photograph there, so it tells you about the locks here in the 1890s to take water back up to the Birmingham level. So it's talking about that on the corner there by the Dudley and Lye Waste Bridge. So the name Parkhead may refer to the new park which lay northwest of here, and was the medieval hunting ground for Roger de Somery, lord of a Dudley castle. Parkhead locks and Dudley tunnel were built between the Dudley and Stourbridge canals and the Birmingham canal. Dudley tunnel also provided a much more shorter route for Birmingham goods to reach the Severn and the sea. Several people were affected by the new canal link. Lord Ward agreed to sell the land at Parkhead to accommodate the locks, but never was paid. The new tunnel would bypass parts of the canal system for which tolls were normally due, so two canal companies who would lose out, the Staffordshire and Worcestershire and the Birmingham Canal Companies, insisted that the 1785 Act included the compensation payments for those lost earnings. This provision repealed in 1835. 5 locks were reconstructed at the Parkhead, but in 1894 the effect of mining at Pear Tree Lane Colliery caused the bottom lock, number 5, to collapse, and instead of replacing it, lock number 4 was deepened to take the canal through the fall of nearly 12 feet, so you can just see a bit there as well. It's a shame it's really faded out quite badly, but Canal Cottages were formerly one of the house. Benjamin Rollison, the stoker of Parkhead engines, lived here. I don't know whether that is actually referring to that on the corner. It possibly could be, I don't quite know, but it is interesting. I mean, the way it actually all dates back, it's just interesting just to see it. But what I want to do now is go and take a look at the next section, which is right up here before we head down to Netherton, down that corner down there, which is a bit of a journey, and we've got the church to cover, which is right the way at the top. So yeah, you can just see there steps going all the way up to it. Look, let's have a look here. Can see the other side of the bridge just into the corner there. Look over there, and with all this underneath it, it would have looked very nice just to show you. Very old viaduct itself, but I believe they're doing repairs to it because it is really old, this viaduct. And you can just see above it, look above, you've got all the works going on. Look, all the repairs happening to it. It's interesting to see them actually restoring history once more. Wow. So yeah, coming up now, this is actually Pensnet Basin Bridge and Parkhead Bridge number 1. So I think it carries going straight on, and it should bring us out to the Dudley Tunnel portal, which you can't walk in there. Dudley Tunnel is actually a canal only tunnel section which links into the limestone mines itself. But you see how old these bridges are, and these actually all date back to the late 1800s. Once more, you see how old this one is. Look, especially with the brickwork, like I've mentioned before in previous videos, most of this brick is 1800s, which you can see, especially underneath it. You can just see how old it is as well, the decay. And the decay of that, look, you see it's rusting really bad underneath this bridge. But yeah, it is nice down this section. I don't know how you get to the other side. I think I'll go across the bridge and then get over there. But I will tell you a bit of history in a bit about the section that I've just been down by the bridge. So yeah, I have got a bit of history about the Parkhead Viaduct, which is right over there, which is being redone up at the moment. Now it does say Parkhead Viaduct is a railway viaduct in Dudley, West Midlands, England. The original viaduct was a wooden structure erected in 1850 to carry the Oxford, Worcester and Wolverhampton Railway over Parkhead locks on the Dudley Canal near the southern mouth of the Dudley Tunnel. The current brick viaduct was built in the 1880, and it is believed the original wooden structure is still encased with its successor. So it's looking down, construction ended in 1880. So the use of the viaduct had fallen by the late 1960s due to the closure of passenger stations on the route, but the line remained open until 19th of March 1993, when the section of the railway between Walsall and Brierley Hill was closed. The most recent train believed to have crossed the viaduct was a cable laying train on the 1st of July 1993. Nearly 4 months after the line's closure. The section of the track over Parkhead Viaduct was removed in about 1995, with most of the track between Highgate Road and Blowers Green Road following in 1998. Due to the construction of a new road bridge over the line nearby, the structure of the viaduct is still intact but has fallen into disrepair, and that is actually why they're restoring the viaduct today, because it has gone really bad into repair. So they're trying to get it done up as much as possible for when the new line actually goes all the way over there. So bear in 1 second. So it says there, reading well got to, and will undergo extensive refurbishment in order to be utilised, with 2023 being the likely completion date to the Wednesbury to Brierley Hill extension to the West Midlands Metro tram network, which will make use of the viaduct. So you can see history turned into useful once more. So it will have a bit of history back into it once more, of a tram actually running all the way across that. It'd just be lovely just to sit here on the Parkhead as well, just where the field is, and actually go down there and take a look at that, because it you know, it dates back quite a bit, and it's just lovely just to learn about it. But yeah, that's Parkhead altogether. So what we're going to do now is journey our way further down there, and let's go and have a look at the Dudley Tunnel, which starts at the bottom right down there. So yeah, absolutely lovely seeing that drone footage with all the views of the canal line going down from the back end of Parkhead junction near the church as well, looking around that little bit of area. Absolutely lovely looking for the area view of that. But there's so much these birds over here, these Canadian geese. Like I mentioned, along the canal line's absolutely full of them. But this now is actually the Dudley tunnel, which is leading into the limestone mines itself. And like I mentioned, it was actually built to help pass through to the Birmingham section of the canal line, so it made it easier for them. I used to imagine how far that really goes though to the other end of the limestone mines itself. But it's quite a bit of a distance in. I will read how far it really goes. Now it should tell you onto here the distance, and I will calculate it. Some signs do say how far they go, some don't. But I can see a sign here, the Dudley tunnel. It will tell you about it in a minute. I can see it. So yeah, this is it, the Dudley tunnel. Looking at the meters, I think this is quite big. Meter wise is, the approximate travel time through the tunnel is 58 minutes. It's a one-way traffic system, and this is the southern portal to the Dudley tunnel. It has a tunnel length of 2,887 meters, 3,157 yards. Wow, now that is, believe it or not, bigger. I think it's about slightly a bit bigger than Netherton tunnel. And you can imagine Netherton tunnel takes about, you know, that long to go through. But it's a shame there ain't no really towpaths on the side of this. And the reason why they never had towpaths for the Dudley tunnel and to link the limestone mines was a simple reason, because, you know, back in them days it was all leggy. They had to leg through these tunnels. That was the only way to get through it. But yeah, it's a shame you can't really look further into there. You can obviously go over the other side of it as well. I might go and sit over the other side actually. Yeah, here we am. I would love to see what this looks like inside. You know, the limestone mines are really interesting, and it does really fascinate me, to be honest. So have a look around the corner. I will have a quick look if I'm very careful. Oh wow, now that goes far. And the reason why you can't see it like at the other end of that is because it brings you up by the singing cavern. I believe as well there is other caverns in there. You can see there is a little bit there with a chain going all the way across. Look. Hello? Wow, listen to this. Listen how far this goes. Hello? Hello? That is far, guys. You can just imagine the distance of that. And if you've ever been through the Dudley limestone mines yourself, you've seen the portal entrance to it. When you're going through to the, I think it's to the singing cavern, the tunnel entrance that's on the left when you're going through, you will see like a little light on the wall above it. And it's not narrow like this, and this is what brings you up by Parkhead junction. Can't believe it goes that far. I really would love to go down here myself. You know, it's strange though why they've got this open to, because you know, you think about it, people can just walk up here with a blow up boat and go all the way through, because they lock the limestone mines from the other side. They put shutters on to stop people from going through them. But if you think about it, this bit's unlocked to go all the way through anyway. But I don't know whether normal traffic actually uses this bit of the canal. I don't really quite know. That is something that I'm unsure of. But I'm sure of it on a map. There is tunnel linkings down here as well in some sections of this, whether it's been bricked up to potential limestone mine workings as well. But wow, it's lovely just to see it. Absolutely goes far in. Yeah, I thought we had the idea. Let's test this stick and let's see how far it really goes down. So let's see. I'll tell you when it touches the bottom. Let's do it now. Okay, it's touched the bottom, so we're looking at from there. So from here, the bottom, the depth of this canal is actually from the length of that stick where my hand is. So realistically, from top to bottom, looking at, if I actually stood in there, you probably come up to about to where my neck is nearly. So I could probably walk down that. Believe it or not, if I had a good pair of wellies on, you know, from that depth. But you can just see there's like a little bit of wooden thing though, so it's quite cool seeing that way going through. There's like chain as well, so I believe that's actually back in the old days. The boats probably used that area down there. There is a mushroom growing in there on the side of the wall as well. But yeah, let's go and make our way now further down the canal, and let's go and head to the church, which is right away on top of the hill. So yeah, where I'm heading now is the church on top of the hill, which is, it is classed as Netherton actually. There is an absolutely lovely view up there. You can see all the surroundings of the Brierley hill, and you can see further. I will show you when I get to the top of it, but it was nice seeing Dudley Tunnel. I mean, I've been waiting there for like at least half an hour, having a bit of a break, having a bit of dinner, and just see if I can spot any wildlife over here. But the wind's picking up as well, can feel like a little bit of a breeze now. It does feel a bit colder than what it was earlier, but the sun is still out though, it's still shining. It's an absolutely beautiful day to be fair, with the sunshine, but I can't wait for it to get warmer though during the week. But let's keep moving on, let's get past the Parkhead viaduct. Let's go and journey our way now onto the Netherton section of the canal line. So yeah, this is it. This is the next section of the canal line from Parkhead Junction. So this now parts off onto the, I think it is the Dudley number 2 canal where it junctions off to. So this goes all the way to Netherton to the bungalow, and if you turn right at the bungalow, it'll obviously take you all the way to Horn Basin, following quite a long route to the house zone section. But it is a nice canal to walk if you've never done it. It's absolutely lovely down this part, and this bit is one of my favourite parts to walk back. I think it is quite muddy down here as well today. I mean, with all the rain we've had, I know, because I did a bike ride yesterday down here. Absolutely lovely to come down, cycled all the way from here, Parkhead Junction to delph on bike. It took about an hour. But so this is what I did for that, so I could see if it was worth filming. But it isn't too bad to come down on foot, but when you get to the bridge down here, you'll see what I mean. It is absolutely muddy. But there is a sign round this corner. It is quite interesting. It's telling us about some industry. If I could try and find it for you, it's quite interesting. So you can see there would have been a bridge here, similar to what I showed you on the other side of the canal, where the round oak was. Now this was for a factory linking just over here back in the old days, so you can see that would have gone across all the way to there. Just a little bridge, not too big. There is an interesting sign here for many of you who want to know a bit about the history. So in 1943, the massive casings were made for the bouncing bomb of the Dam Busters fame in the Graysbrook ironworks, which stood behind you. The success of this engineering marvel was one of the great triumphs of World War II. So you can just see Graysbrook's ironworks, which would have been situated on the back over here. That's why there's a little bridge, because that would have crossed from one point to another. And I thought I might show you that, because that is really interesting to see some very old history along the canal line itself. quiet it is down this canal section. Not many people actually walking down here today, but the beautiful sunshine beaming down on the canal itself. It does remind me of the Starbridge Canal section where you go all the way to Kimber and Stourton. It's just pretty much really the same. Got all the reeds on the side. Quite a lot of wildlife as well onto this section of the canal. Got more hens over there. Beautiful seeing the sunshine beaming down onto it. Well, looking on the hill though, you can just see the church, which is where we're heading, right at the top. Look, I think you can see it from where I pointed. I mean, many people walk down here but they don't realise there's a church there. So we are going to head to the top. It is a bit of a steep hike to get to the top of it. We've got to walk up all that steep hill and it leads into the churchyard. But there is some very fantastic history behind it. It's not just a basic churchyard itself and what surrounds the area. I think there is history behind an old coal mine underground which sat on fire. So you can just imagine what went on here. But there is a sign. If I get to the bottom bridge, there is a sign that tells you about it, and I will look up a bit of information behind it. But yeah, just before I get to that, there is something quite interesting round the corner. Now I spotted these the ever last time I come down. They have sat on fire. Now they are old formal houses which are really old. They have the toilets into the garden, and it is interesting seeing the way the old houses were back in the past. I don't know if you can get down to it at the moment because it was the very last time I seen them. It was quite hard to get down because there's quite a lot of rubbish just onto the corner of them, and they are, if you're walking down the canal line, they are just literally right on the corner down here. So I'll see if I can get down for you. But there's the gardens from just down there, so we'll have a quick butchers and see if we can get down to show you. But yeah, they have sat on fire, I believe. I know the roof looks really bad onto one of the corners of it. So it's just literally right round the corner from this bridge where we can have a look at it. Can just see, you can get a bit of a view from there. Look at the roof onto that. There to see it, but it is absolutely bad. I don't know when these sat on fire. I don't know what year they did, but they probably would have been in really mint condition inside. Look at the bridge as well. Look at this. I mean, look how old this bridge is. 1800 style bridge. This has got to be built in 1800s. This has. I'm just looking round as well. I mean, there is signs. There is one here, one to do with coal mining for Black Country. The Black Country is what it is and where it is because of what is underneath it. Beneath us is more concentrated wealth of minerals than anywhere else on the earth. Ironstone, limestone and also the thickest coal in Europe can be found within just a shovel. The land was so exploited that there was barely a living thing on the surface. This scarred landscape became our Black Country. Yeah, it is going to be a bit difficult because people have put stuff there, but they do look in really, really bad condition. See if I can get away with these thorns, I might be able to get down. I did come here a few years ago actually, and they were really bad inside, but the outside is really interesting to look at. So I'm going to be careful as much as I can to look at these. Oh, got my foot stuck. You see all this old pipe, and I don't know what this is. But these houses are so old, and why I want to show you them is basically because it's just the style of them. Yeah, they're blocked up now, so you can see you can't get in them no more. But they're really old from the outside, look. I can go around, I will show the toilets at the back. But look at that. Old brickwork style look. Whether many of you know what these were back in the past, but by the canal. Whether many of you actually remember them being lived in, or actually when they was in proper full form. Can see there's a fire look because upstairs is gone. I mean, with all the weather we've had, it's just absolutely bad for them. But that was called, so the door number was that, whether it was 128. So there's a number onto that. Let's go and have a look at this other one. Being a bit careful of the sides because it is really overgrown now, this has. Oh, that is bad. Let's put the glass onto it. Look at that, 162. I think I might have been wrong. This is actually 162. But it does look like it was open at one point, but it's just lodged all the way through now. Never nailed it shut. You can just the style of that one as well. That one's not too bad inside, but it has the fire has spread from that other side to this building as well. Right, let's have a look at the back of this. You can get to the back and I can show you it. Oh, quite dangerous. But yeah, these are the back of them, so you can just the style of these buildings. And obviously you come out, I believe there possibly could have been a kitchen attached to the back as well, because you can see this like little outbuilding. Now, I have talked to people in the past and they've told me about kitchens in the back of the houses back in the old days. Some buildings had kitchens at the back where you would come from the back door and go into the kitchen, and it looks to me like it was a kitchen, because when you go through, I don't know whether it possibly could have been, but you can just see the tiles. Look, could it have been a washroom though, where they wash the clothes, or could it have been a small kitchen? I don't quite know, but I do know some houses have back kitchens and back toilets where you can see the toilet was actually linked to the outside. Look, so it would have gone through. This is the toilet, but it's that obviously separate from the inside of the house itself, so you had to come outdoors to this part. There was no other way into it, I don't think. Well, I don't think there was. You see there, one more look at that. It is quite interesting. Whether many of you know what this could have possibly been into here, then feel free to drop it in the comments. But it is interesting to see an outside part of the building, because that dates back quite a bit actually. Not meant the way houses like that today. There was one left like this up Woodgate Valley by the park. There was an house with a toilet outside, and both of them was abandoned. The Wenty one, the bath was so small. It's just interesting to see the way they actually lived back in the past. It's just absolutely amazing. Let's get back on the canal. Let's get back down to the church. So I know this church has quite a bit of history behind it, because it is really old, and I want to tell you a bit about the church. So the Church of St Andrew, Netherton, is an Anglican parish church situated in Netherton in the Metropolitan Borough of Dudley. The building was designed by Thomas Lee and it opened in 1830. In 1844 it became the parish church for Netherton. Looking down, founded in 1830. It is actually a grade 2 listed building, and it is really old when I look closer at it. The construction cost £8,000 and the years built was 1827 to 1830. Looking down, the vicars, Richard Hackett, I think that one there. Yeah, there's quite a lot of interesting information, history now. Netherton, like many black country industry areas, contained many non-conformist chapels. It did not have an Anglican church until the 16th of July 1830, when St Andrews was consecrated and opened by the Lord Bishop of Worcester, and foundation stone of the church had been laid by Dr Brooker, the Vicar of Dudley, on 30th of November 1827. The building, designed by Thomas Lee, was a commissioner's church funded by Parliament. It was constructed in the early English style and cost £8,000 to complete. The land on which the church was built was donated by the Earl of Dudley. The churchyard contains the mass unmarked graves of victims of cholera. I think that's cholera that struck Dudley in 1831 to 1832. It was originally just a chapel at ease to St Thomas's of Dudley, only becoming Netherton's parish church on December the 1st, 1844. The first incumbent vicar was the Rev. Bradshaw, appointed in 1845. The church underwent restoration in 1862. Furnishings added in the late 19th century and early 20th century include a font, an alabaster reredos, a pulpit and wrought iron screen, and a lectern. In February 1908, a pinnacle was blown over, causing £300 worth of damage to the west end of the church. A vestry was added to the east end of the church in 1938. The building is Grade 2 listed, which you can see just there. Quite interesting just to see that. But yeah, much history behind the church itself, and if you do want to come and visit it, the best way I say is if you live in the Alzone area close by to this area, get the there's a bus what goes to Netherton by the town centre, get on the Dudley #2 canal. It is only a short up. You've got the bigger bridge which is at the bottom. You walk down, you can actually walk up here, so it isn't too far really. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What I'm going to do now is make our way up to St Andrews, and let's go and take a look at the church altogether and what it's like. So yeah, this is it. This is the grounds of the church, so we're going to make our way in. It is really old in here. But look at the views of that though, it's just wow. It is breathtaking seeing half the views. You can just see Franklin Beach is where I'm pointing right in the distance over there. Can see some better views now. I can see Alzone Flats. Alzone Flats are right the way the distance being covered by a dip, because Alzone lies in the dip down the bottom. That's if I can judge it right though, that bit there is where McDonald's is on the Starbridge Road when you're going down. There's a football ground there. You got lie there. Starbridge is in the dip down there, the back of that lot, I think. You got Kimber at the back over there, Witchbury Hill, Clench you can see at the back, Malvern Hills there. See what else I can see actually, because I'm not zooming in to see this. And yeah, I think can see Uffmore Woods. Uffmore Woods is visible, can see all the trees in the distance. It doesn't really look too far to get back home to where I've got to get to though, but by foot you would probably just have to walk to the back over there and you'd somehow able to get over to it. There is a pool there. I've never seen a pool down here. You can just see it from here as well. Big massive pool. Don't know what it is. I think it's actually Netherton Reservoir. Yeah, it is. That's Netherton Reservoir there, just right in the dip. So that's just by the bridge. The bridge is there down the bottom, the big bridge. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see the views. I will come back to that a bit later. So let's go ahead into the church and have a quick look. But it is amazing just to see the way the church is, because you can just see how old the brickwork is onto this. I don't know whether it opens up to the public. I cannot tell you if it does. Every time I've been, it's been shut, because I know it's some sort of a parish. They only open at certain times. I mean, Wordsley parish is also the same. But looking around the churchyard, you can just see, look how old the gravestones are. Really old. You can see more up here, look. Now if I look at these ones, because most of them do look like they've crumbled apart on some. That one's really old. You can see there would have been one there. There is one here. The date of that is actually 1927, 1926. There is some ones here as well. Look at these ones. 1884. And you can see a big one there. The big graveyard there. Look at the back with loads of old ones at the back over there. Extends further to the back, this does. But looking over the other side now. Get back on the path. It's lovely to see one daffodil though flowered. There's only one. I haven't seen another one. Let's have a look at the church. But yeah, look at the architecture of that. I mean, some of it's coming apart. You can see bits of brick is missing into the side of the walls. You can just see the big clock just up to there, look. Wow, the big bell tower. And I did just look for the key into the door, and it is so dark into there. There is just one candle burning. There's actually another entrance into it, but I bet it's closed. Yeah, it is. It's so dark, you can just not see a thing, apart from some little rooms. Right. And so that's it, the inside of the church. And you can see the stained glass windows, look at those. But those are amazing just to see into there. And then there is a cellar down there as well, you can see looking there end. But it is quite nice to see the old church which sits at the top of by Merry Hill in Netherton. because you can see it really clear. You can see the top of it when you go down onto the car park in Merrill, and you can just see the big church, the bell tower sticking out onto the view, the bottom. That's what caught my attention to come here and take a look at it, because I thought, yeah, that's going to be worth having a look at. But it's a shame it isn't open to show you, because the best things are inside the church, like the stained glass windows and the architecture and history. But I don't know whether it gets used. That's another thing that I'd like to know. Is it an old church that doesn't get used anymore? You can see it does look like a bit run down though, to be fair. This is the sides of it. I mean, bits of bricks missing on that side as well, look. Yeah, I don't think you can, unfortunately, so I think that is about it for this place, really. I don't think there's any more to see. But it's stunning architecture, seeing the outside of it though. At least, you know, it's just nice to come and take a look at it all together. But I think that's about it for today, for this little interesting episode. So yeah, my plans was to go down that hill and go to the bridge, but because the mud is absolutely really bad, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get to it in this episode today. I may do a bike riding pre-series and go down there to show you, which will probably be the best thing I can do, because the mud is absolutely unreal, and I don't want to get all muddy again like I did yesterday, because when you go down the path, it's like really bad. It's like the amount of rain what I've had is saturated it. But it's easy for me to get back from it because I've only got one bus ride down the main road into the town centre of Netherton. So, you know, it has been an interesting journey. I've really enjoyed it, walking from the delph all the way to Parkhead junction, from Parkhead junction to the church. And I was planning to go further down there, but not today though. But I have enjoyed it. It's going to be interesting to do a bike riding series based on this. So all I can say is subscribe, like, comment, stay tuned with anything that I have upcoming for you, because I will have quite a few. I am planning to do Staffordshire, I think it's South Staffordshire railway line, which is a walk which is really interesting. Someone told me to do it, so keep your eyes open for that. But I think that's about it now. Next few days I'm going to be staying in now, doing a bit of video and catching up with what I've done. But yeah, see you soon. Subscribe and take care.